we'll be here all day. No, we're going to be here about 15 minutes. Don't worry. I know that sounds like a lot, but I promise you that we'll solve this question shortly. We're going to do it. That person chiming in would be my lovely wife, by the way. Anyway, we're going to do that with the help of an extremely popular contemporary book by John Strzelecki, entitled The Cafe on the Edge of the World, a story about the meaning of life. Actually, I'd heard about this book, popped up, and I thought, well, this sounds a lot like the Restaurant at the End of the Universe book. But it's a little bit different. This one, I think, might have come first. Strzelecki authored this book in 2002, and over 4 million copies have been sold. It is the #1 seller on Amazon in the section Personal Success and Spirituality. At 106 pages, just an easy read. I finished it in 2 mornings. That doesn't mean it is not deep, though. I recommend you read it. The story is nothing less than finding meaning, purpose, and contentment amid life's chaos. Imagine yourself at a crossroads in life, feeling lost, overwhelmed, and unsure of where to turn. This is where our protagonist, John, finds himself after trying to avoid a traffic snarl. He decides to turn off the highway and becomes lost. He eventually stumbles upon a quaint cafe nestled off the beaten track in the middle of nowhere, named the Cafe of Questions. At the cafe, he encounters a wise and enigmatic server named Casey, who's a woman, who offers him 3 profound questions that appear on the menu. Why are you here? Do you fear death? And are you fulfilled? These questions serve as catalysts for deep introspection and lead John on a transformative journey of self-discovery. I have not been to that cafe. I want to go. Why are you here? Through a series of Socratic discussions with Casey, John explores this question. Actually, he talks to the cook too, named Mike. He asks Casey, once someone knows why they're here, they do whatever they want that fulfills their reason? He's a question in her. As he asks this question that appears on the menu, it transforms into a different question. Why am I here? Hey, it's a magical cafe. Casey states, when a person knows the reason why they're here, they've identified a purpose for existing, R, shortened to PFE. They may find 10, 20, or hundreds of things that they want to do to fulfill their purpose for existing. As we try to find out what will fulfill our purpose for existing, our limits today aren't really about accessibility. They're way better now than they were even 10, 20 years ago. They're about the limitations we impose on ourselves. Through interactions at the cafe and encounters with various people at the cafe, John learns invaluable lessons about life, purpose, and happiness. He discovers that true fulfillment comes from, not a surprise, within, and that it's not about chasing external validation or societal norms. John comes to understand that purpose isn't something to be found, it's something to be created. It's about living authentically, pursuing what truly matters to you, and making a positive impact on the world around you. He muses, without knowing exactly why I'm here and what I want to do, I just do what most people are doing. In case he asks him, in your experience, has doing what most people are doing helped you fulfill your purpose for existing? She gives him a metaphor from her life involving an encounter with a green sea turtle while snorkeling in Hawaii. Eventually, she knows she's out there snorkeling, and eventually she notices that the turtle could outswim her because it optimized his movements with the movements of the water. John realizes the lesson in this story. I think the turtle, the green sea turtle, taught you that if you aren't in tune with what you want to do, you can waste your energy on lots of other things. Then, when opportunities come your way for what you do want, you might not have the strength or time to spend on them. Isn't that the way of the world, though? Self-examination is difficult. It seems so huge, people avoid it. Most people just lean into life without ever asking important questions. They will work for 40 plus years in an unfulfilling job that has nothing to do with their purpose for existing. They have a vague notion that retirement may be the time to contemplate these challenging questions. Meanwhile, they focus on consumption as attainment of fulfillment because that's what the media tells you how to become fulfilled. So true. Then they continue to work at an unfulfilling job to pay for the consumption. If you are unfocused, there will always be many people to persuade you to spend your time, money, and energy on them. Casey explained about the time when this became clear to her. She ran into an acquaintance at a coffee shop who said, the challenge is to realize that something is fulfilling because we determine it's fulfilling, not because someone else tells us it is. Second question, do you fear death? Of course, this is one of the most common fears. Casey explains, people who haven't asked themselves the question you saw on the menu and haven't taken steps to fulfill their PFE, those people fear death. John gets it, but it doesn't have to be that way, does it? I mean, if someone asks themselves why they're here, then they choose what they wanted to do to fulfill their PFE, and then actually did those things, why would they fear death? You can't fear not having the chance to do something if you've already done it, or if you're doing it every day. Are you fulfilled? The second question. John voices some concerns about having enough money if his PFE didn't produce enough income. He answers himself by saying, well, if he was fulfilled in his pursuits, he'd be less concerned about money. He also answered Casey's question about the few people he knew personally who were clearly fulfilled and were financially successful. Funny thing about those people, they always seem lucky, don't they? He continues the discussion with Mike the cook. With some prompts from Mike, he observes that a characteristic of this group is that they're all lucky. I mean, good things just happen to them. Unexpected things. Mike observes, you can't help but get caught up in their passion and enthusiasm for what they're doing. You just feel like you want to help. Mike tells him about a friend who had a recurring dream where he faced a ridiculously impossible golf shot. This is a window ledge. Give me a break. Art would relate to this, Reverend. The location, when he finally reached the height of frustration and was ready to take the shot, the location of the ball would move to a new, equally challenging location. He'd wake up in sweats. One night, though, he suddenly became aware he could just pick up the ball and put it somewhere else. Nothing was at stake, and he was the only one who really cared where he hit the ball from. Mike explained a metaphor in his friend's realizations. Despite what we may be taught to believe, are exposed to in advertisements, or feel when we're stressed out at work, we each control every moment of our lives. I'd forgotten that was trying to I had forgotten that and was trying to adjust to all kinds of other influences. This is John. As I was letting them control my existence, just like no one really cared about where I hit the ball from except me. In life, only you truly know what you want from your existence. Don't ever let things or people drive you to the point where you feel you no longer have control over your own destiny. Be active in choosing your path, or it will be chosen for you by others. Just move the ball. John was still puzzled about how to reach the initial step. It was a hard one on his path and realize his PFE. Casey responds, for some people, they ask the question and want to know the answer, but they want someone or something else to be responsible for bringing it to them. The thing is, though, just as we have free will to decide what we do once we know the answer, we're also the one in control of finding the answer. Both Casey and Mike suggest different ways people have of excluding the external noise of existence so that these questions can be considered. Talking about things that quiet your mind, being in nature, meditation. Mike describes an epiphany he had in Costa Rica and concludes with, the thing is, John, life is an amazing story. It's just that sometimes we forget that we're the author and we can write it however we want. John emerges from his journey with a newfound sense of clarity and purpose. He realizes that life is too short to be spent on autopilot, and that true fulfillment comes from living in alignment with our values and passions. So it is.